Hello and welcome to this session of WordPress Essentials. Today we're going to look at the elements of WordPress posts. So how all the different parts of the post come together to create the overall user experience. In a previous video I covered how you use posts, what are they, where they're best used. Now we're just looking at each element and how they come together. So we're going to look at adding the permalinks, how to edit, revisions, how to roll back if you've made mistakes with your post, how to use an excerpt and in your feed rather than display the full content, and that goes to the same with featured images. We'll look at categorizing your content and posts to use in various parts of your site and using tags to really give the search engines the core of what you're truly trying to rank for. So let's take a look. We'll cross over to the screen share now and I'll run you through those elements of a post. So let's go back and just have a quick look at our site, and you'll notice with our insights, we call it insights, but it could be blog, it could be news. We show a featured image, a title, a excerpt, a date on this page. So these are all elements of the post that you need to set up to get them working properly. So I'm going to create a new post, and my new article is going to be my title. I'll click down into the main content area. You will notice here I am using the classic editor. We will do further topics around using Gutenberg and other editing software such as Divi and Visual Composer. However, this is just using the classic editor. So the main element is our title. The WordPress then takes the title and turns it into what's called a permalink, or the URL, the website address of that article. See, it's got the dates in it here. Now, for most businesses, I'm just going to save that first and publish that. And I'll look at that in a new tab. So here is my article. It has no content, but it's got some data around the date of publishing, who authored it, and comments. There's no comments, and there's no there's no comments. So that's our post. But let's have a look back here. We don't necessarily want these dates to be appearing. I'd rather a nice solid keyword search friendly title here. So out of the box, WordPress puts that in place. So you go to settings, you go to permalinks, and instead of it being day and time, which is the default, you would change that to post name. So you would only do this once as a setup, because if you did change that, it changes all your article addresses all over the site, and that will affect your Google listing of all the search results of your articles, and you would need to fix a whole bunch of stuff. So don't mess with the permalinks once you've set it up in your site. Now that's in place. I'll go back to my posts, and here's my article I've just created. So the main elements are, again, the title, permalink. We've got our main content. So here is my content. That would be a paragraph, but I can put a heading in. Here is a heading 2. So I would format that as a heading 2. I'm going to just grab some lorem ipsum and paste that into our area here, just to flesh this out a little bit. I will cover in a separate training video around working with this content a little bit more deeply, but this is really just about the elements. So let me update that. So now I've got some content in there. When you first load this page, you will find that it may just stop at the end of the content. And you're wondering, going, hey, where do I go to edit the excerpt, where I look at revisions and all of these? See these parts down here? So you go to screen options when you're on the post page and make sure all of these items up here are ticked, and then you will have a much better experience of seeing what other parts of the page that need to be addressed. So here's my excerpt. And my excerpt is here. So I'm just putting this in place to show you where this works. Send trackbacks are notifications that if someone has linked to your content, it will send you a notification. That's okay. We won't worry about custom fields as we're just looking at the basics. Discussion, again, as I said, this is the engine room of WordPress, and a lot of WordPress was built around people being able to comment on articles and make it part of a community. This now has turned into a bit more of abuse and abusive content search, because people used to put in links within people's comments to boost their Google profile. So this isn't used as much as it was. But if you're very blog focused, personal blog, a travel blog, and you want people to comment and you're moderating heavily, then you would actually leave this on. The slug is another name for the permalink, and here I can set my authorship. I will leave it at me, the training admin. The other components are categories. Categories are the very powerful part of how you group content and different topics, but also you can have a category that is homepage category, display on homepage category, and by ticking that, it would send your article to the homepage of the content. You don't have to use WordPress's tools. So you could have different categories displayed, different parts of news within different parts of the website using categories. At the moment, I'm going to tick those two and untick categorize. Tags are a more granular approach to categories. So categories think high level, tags think content topics within your main topics. So if I am doing a lot of training components, I would start doing tagging around training, and maybe I would talk about posts, and I can talk about WordPress. So as I add more articles in the site, then and tag them with similar tags, I can show you how that the navigation all works. I can set a featured image here that is separate from images that you put in the content. Again, I'll look at detailed content editing later. But the featured image can sit apart. Here's an example of a featured image. It is sitting separate to the main content. If I click through to my insights, which are my blog feed, here's my featured image here displayed as one part, and if I click through to the article, the featured image actually doesn't display here because I don't want it to. So you've got a bunch of flexibility around the different components of what a post is, and I'll show you now how those reflect in the actual article. So I'm going to refresh this now. So here's my date related article, and I changed my permalink structure to just have the title. So that's how that works. Now, so again, I'm in a raw version of WordPress with no real theme. It's got 2019 theme, but there's no branding or anything, so don't worry about that. So here's my URL, my permalink. Here's my title. Here's the author, date, so I can modify the dates. I can leave a comment or edit this because I'm logged in as an editor. Here is my content. Here is a heading. So if I scroll down, this is just showing you different features that are in the footer of this. So here's my archives. I've got articles that are published in January and July. Here's my tags. So this is a tag cloud. Because I've mentioned WordPress in 2 different posts, the word is larger than the other one, that is training and posts. So if I click on WordPress, here's my article with my excerpt, and here's my Hello World article with my excerpt. So you can see I can group particular articles and types of content according to tag, and here's how it does that up in the URL. So the tag is WordPress. So this can be very, very powerful for ranking for particular topics in search if you're going through a lot of content. So the same thing works with the archive display of dates. So here's my July article, which is only one, and I can navigate through those posts. So this is so that's just an overview of the different elements of a post and how you would use those. Because the WordPress is very flexible, consider it like a framework where people overlay all different types of themes. You can use posts in a whole bunch of different ways, but it's a very powerful engine room to work with your content.